Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to when you want to sift through the sources and, find those really unexpected insights. Today, we're looking at something pretty compelling, a real paradox, actually. On one side, you've got Reverend Elias Wilson. He's this Atlanta icon synonymous with, well, benevolence. And on the other, the FBI, absolutely reeling from the murder of two agents killed by this phantom operative they only call Domino. Our sources are hinting that these two worlds, which seem totally irreconcilable, might actually be, well, disturbingly connected. And that's what we're diving into. How could this even be possible? So let's start with Reverend Wilson. His public life, it sounds like it's basically a masterclass in image management. You've got the Mount Zion Baptist Church, the barbershop there, Wilson Construction. He's building homes, building futures, a real pillar of the community in Atlanta. Yeah, the sources paint a picture of real impact. Things like interest-free loans for parishioners who are struggling, like Sarah Jenkins, or giving second chances to former inmates like Marcus Bell. Community events, too. He really seems like the architect of his own legend, as the sources put it.
Right. And what's really fascinating digging into this is that beneath that carefully polished surface, the sources suggest there are these quick flashes of someone entirely different. Like during tense business deals, suddenly his eyes show this chilling flash of cold, hard steel. That's a direct quote.
Wow. Cold, hard steel. That's quite a contrast to helping parishioners.
It is. And there's more. Hushed phone calls, really rapid fire, talking about rerouting shipments by midnight, making sure there are no loose ends. Again, source details. His private study, too. It's described as this mix of theology books and financial ledgers. Suggests a very calculating mind, maybe orchestrating something far more illicit, a different kind of salvation.
A calculated necessity, you think? Not just hiding something casual.
Seems that way. The sources imply this duality wasn't accidental, but deliberately constructed.
Okay, so while Wilson is building this complex image, the FBI headquarters, the J. Edgar Hoover building, is described as being in, well, total chaos. Agents Miller and Hayes, murdered inside their own secure offices. It's brutal. One shot, precise. The other with a garrote.
Yeah, garrote, basically a wire or cord used for strangulation. Extremely professional, chillingly efficient. It just shatters the Bureau's whole sense of security, their invincibility.
So who could do that? Inside the FBI?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Special agents Rossi, O'Connell, Hansen, they're leading the hunt for this Domino.
Yeah.
This operative is basically a ghost, linked in the intel to assassinations overseas, big bank heists, systematically taking out informants, and the audacity of this attack. No forced entry signs, no forensic clues left behind. It screams inside knowledge, right? Intimate familiarity with how the FBI works.
An insider, or someone with incredible access. So they're hunting a ghost. How do the sources say they even start to link Domino back to Reverend Wilson? Seems like a huge leap.
It does. But the sources point to this one crucial, maybe fragile thread. It comes from a dying informant. His last words were supposedly, Wilson. Pastor Wilson.
Just a whisper.
Just a whisper. But combined with some deep financial analysis, it leads the FBI to Wilson. They find out he was briefly a director for something called Viridian Holdings.
Which is
a shell corporation, basically a company that exists only on paper, designed to obscure money trails. And this shell, Viridian, it was routing huge amounts of untraceable money from another company, Aegis Global.
Aegis Global sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, they're a private security firm, but with a reputation, let's say, for specialized skill sets. Think Black Ops divisions, threat neutralization, that kind of thing.
Okay, so threat neutralization sounds like a euphemism.
It often is. And these money trails, they match up disturbingly well with Domino's known activities, arms trafficking, paying off corrupt officials. So the FBI starts thinking, could Wilson be the shepherd, the chameleon, maybe even the architect behind this whole dark network, using that benevolent public face as the perfect cover?
Wow. Shepherd, chameleon, architect, from community leader to that. It's staggering. So the FBI eventually confronts him, right? What happens then? How does he react?
According to the sources, he keeps that serene composure, at least at first. Yeah. Very calm. He deflects. Frames his involvement in things like Viridian as just, advisory roles, helping with community development, philanthropic endeavors. He blames any illicit stuff on others or dismisses it as misunderstandings, uses abstract ideas like morality, the greater good, trying to completely reframe it.
Trying to control the narrative, even under questioning.
Exactly. But the agents, they notice little things. His hands tightening, his eyes narrowing, just slightly. And as they push harder, laying out the specific money transfers, linking them directly to the arms deals, even to the agent's murders, that calm surface starts to crack. That's when the sources mention it again, that subtle, almost imperceptible glint of steel in his eyes, revealing what they call a hard and unyielding core.
So even cornered, he wasn't breaking, just showing the steel beneath.
Pretty much. A man used to being in absolute control, trying to maintain it even when the walls are closing in.
This whole deep dive looking at Reverend Wilson and this hunt for Domino, it really does reveal such a profound and, frankly, unsettling duality. It makes you really question how someone so celebrated for, virtue or good works could even potentially be connected to such deep darkness.
And maybe the key insight from these sources isn't just the duality, but how the good side was actively used. Wilson's benevolence wasn't just a mask. It was like a tool. It disarmed suspicion, made the illicit stuff almost invisible right under everyone's noses. It wasn't two separate lives, but one incredibly complex, integrated operation. A masterclass in social engineering almost.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. It leaves you wondering what other hidden truths might be lurking just beneath the most polished surfaces we see every day. And maybe more importantly, how many of those uncomfortable truths are we willing to just overlook? Because the facade feels safer. Something to ponder.